Hey guys, and thank you for stopping by again. This is the Just Meeple and Me YouTube channel for solo board gaming. My name is Jeremy, and today I have Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon, here in front of me. This is Awakened Realms' newest hit. You know, they have a lot of great games out there. Lords of Hellas, Nemesis just came out. Tainted Grail took 2019 by storm. I think it raised over $4 million on Kickstarter, and since then they've had successful releases of Etherfield, The Great Wall, ISS Vanguard coming out hopefully later in the summer for Kickstarter. But this is a massive game. There are 60, 90, 100 hours campaign in this game. You know, this is a very solo playable game. This was really one of the first, not necessarily dungeon crawler, but campaign story-driven games that I bought, and I am so excited to dig into this dark Arthurian Celtic universe created by Awakened Realms and Krzysztof Piasecki, which I know that's probably nowhere close. He is apparently a very famous Polish fantasy writer, and he contributed a lot of the story to this game. And then the founder of Awakened Realms, Marcin Sorquat, again, terrible on names, guys. I'm sorry, but you know, Marcin does a lot of Facebook stuff for Awakened Realms. He does his weekly or bi-weekly overviews of the company, talk about a lot of different games in development and where each game is at. But he's been a big part of this, and this is a big game. This is a heavy game. This box weighs 10-15 pounds at least, and there's more content coming. There's, you know, 2 other expansion contents. There's a prelude content. So this is a game that can keep you busy for hundreds and hundreds of hours. I am not, though, going to be doing an unboxing of this game, if you will. This is such a popular game. You know, it has been done 100,000 times. I would be buried on there. If you want to check out more about this game in detail, Adam Smith on Rolling Solo has gameplay overviews and prototype overviews. You can see kind of how the game developed. He may have an unboxing of his copy that he has. Otherwise, I mean, just, you know, Tainted Grail unboxing YouTube, probably get 10 pages worth of videos. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about a little bit about organization. This is not a true reboxing video either, because I do have in this box some third-party custom inserts for this game. The one flaw that Awakened Realms made with this game, in my opinion, was not making the insert really compatible with sleeved cards. I sleeve all my cards, guys. Pretty much every card I have is sleeved. There are very few games that I don't sleeve, and the ones I don't, they may only have 6 or 8 cards in the game. I'm not a big part of it. All my deck builders are sleeved. Deep Madness and Thunderstone Quest, as you guys have seen, those videos are fully sleeved. Terraforming Mars, Wingspan, sleeved. Scythe, sleeved. The list kind of goes on from there. You know, I've already have my sleeve packs ordered through a couple of different sleeve companies that I use for all my games coming up. Should be arriving, which is, you know, Madara, Oathsworn, Aeon's End. I mean, just, I sleeve my games. I'm not alone in that. Tons and tons of people sleeve their games. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to sleeve a game like this. This isn't a game you're going to find at Walmart or even your favorite local board gaming store, unless they order a lot of copies. This game has a lot of unique cards, unique art. Some of the cards actually form the game board, the location cards you play on it. That's just right in Spill City there, or if you're moving your, you know, miniatures around, if you get scuffed, I don't know. But I wanted to protect this investment, so I sleeve my cards. But when Awakened Realms designed the game, and they were clear about it. It wasn't a surprise, but it wasn't designed to hold sleeve cards very well at all. And a lot of people got their game before me, and the Facebook posts and Reddit posts and Board Game Geek forums opened up, and there was just not a lot of great solutions out there, and you had to compromise some things, and I just wasn't happy with it. And it actually prevented me from really opening this game and sleeving it until very recently, when I saw a post from Dice Cuts. Dice Cuts, brand new company, I believe out of Canada, and their very first custom insert that they made was for Tainted Grail. And the tagline that got me to buy it was, "It will fit sleeved cards." So I'm just going to do a very quick video here showing you how their product works, give them a little shout out because I was so happy with it, the quality of it. It solved a major problem for me. You know, I know they were limited by the box space, and there's just a ton of content in this game, you know, so that it's not, if I was designing the box for Awakened Realms Tainted Grail, it would be 2-3 inches bigger on each side, you know, a couple inches taller, and that would allow me to sort and organize the game how I want. So it's not, in my mind, a perfect insert for, but it is probably the best option on the market now. It gets the job done. Everything is organized, and I'm excited to show you what Dice Cuts has done, because I'm really excited for seeing what their future designs are as well. So, open up the box. And if you guys have seen unboxings for this game in the past, you know, ton of content in the game. We got our save sheets, our rule books. I will just show you this because I got an extra, just a little blank journal, you know, with kind of old, cool looking worn pages, but just so you could write things or make notes as you go through this campaign. It has some art, as I said, in it, so just a fun little book. Huge exploration journal. I have metal tokens, so these are the plastic ones that came with the game. And then the player boards. Okay, here is the custom insert for this game. Every card is sleeved, okay? And I, first of all, was just blown away by the design for this game here. And it is a snug fit, just a second. There we go. Oh, that's just an extra, that's why. It's just an extra divided I'm not using right now. This was so cool. Like, this was just even fun to put together. But this holds all of your player characters, you know, in there perfectly. They took the time to label where each character goes. Okay, I was so impressed by just the thought of these designs. I mean, I'm going to turn this upside down. I'm shaking it. Those minis are not falling out. They are in there. Okay, so I'm going to take the 4-dweller out quick, and you can see it's labeled, you know, burned into the wood, 4-dweller. He goes in here. You know, maggot sits right there. Again, it's labeled. But I just love, you know, that those just snap right into place, and it keeps them from going anywhere. It protects them. Nothing is going to scuff them. You know, I do need to turn Arv a little bit to protect his sickle there. But, there we go. Yeah, that's better. But now, those are protected. That is really good. I am super excited about that. Okay, and then they did the same thing with the menhirs. The menhirs, to keep them protected. Okay, so I'm going to dig in here one more time. And these are, again, this was a tighter fit, but that keeps the menhir statues from going anywhere. You know, I'm shaking that up and down. They're not falling out. Those are protected. They do just slide, you know, right out here. Okay. And they used, you know, how they were designed to hold the tokens. You know, they used that design to create these little tabs that, hold up, I can't see what I'm doing. There, that lock it back together and keep them there. So right away, I was just so impressed by that concept of their design. They did actually include tabs for the menhirs that were labeled. I made a mistake and didn't check the spare component. As you can see, they are labeled because they sent me, you know, some pieces that they noticed didn't cut properly or there was errors. I was just so excited to put it together. I didn't look through that pack, so my menhir case doesn't have it labeled. Not that I need it for them, but I'm so glad that there are labels in here for, you know, Ali, Arv, Baelor, Maggot, and Niam. If I said those right, all in there, so I know who is who. But they just, the thought that they went into the detail, the labeling, very, I'm very impressed with dice cuts so far. Okay, so the next thing we have here is, that's just a little extra thing to keep everything flush. Again, this is even just an extra thing, again, just to keep everything flush, but I use my time markers and dice in there, so that works. You know, this, so everything is sleeved. I'm using Paladin 90 micron double matte, so there's no glare to really preserve. Okay, I shouldn't say no glare, but minimal glare to really preserve the artwork of Tainted Grail. And they fit nicely. So, and you can see that they created, you know, they even created little plastic dividers that were labeled with current chapters, special events, completed chapters, which we're not using yet. But all of those fit perfectly right into there. We have our location cards. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, I'll just start from the back here. Yeah, hold up. These are player cards. Let me get those out. There. That's what I'm talking about, you know. We put these on, you know, on the table, and we move our characters on these cards. They form the map. I don't know why we wouldn't want to protect them with sleeves. So that's why I sleeved all my location cards as well. Those are also 90 micron Paladin. They are not double matte, so there's a little bit more glare on there. They don't make double matte in that size. But for all the other combat cards and standard cards, double matte location cards. Okay, next box, again, fits perfectly. We have all the item cards, all the secrets, all the skills. Okay. And it all fits in there and perfectly labeled, perfectly dividers. You know, got some room in there. This is Dice Cuts. Give them a little shout out. They do have their Facebook page there. I am going to post a link in the description below. But they had a fun little box here. It actually locks into place, so you have to slide it back, then pop it up. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to do this like one-handed, but it's not that hard. In all reality, there we go. And this keeps, you know, all of our cubes here, all of our time and status markers. These are the metal coins I was talking about. Okay, so I store them there. Fits perfectly. No complaints at all about the job they did with the storage on this. So I was very pleased. And honestly, the thought they put into this, I mean, I think this is one of the best well-designed box inserts I've seen. And they're very new. I mean, I've gotten, you know, custom inserts from other companies, you know, Wooden or Foam Core or Evercore, and they've been all good, but they just, Dice Cuts really just seem to be thoughtful how they created these locking mechanisms, and, you know, how these hero pieces don't really come out. I love that. Okay, so that's the component piece. So these are the ones that I didn't really sleeve, but they're just player overview cards. And I was a little worried about getting it fit in there. You know, if I'd used Awaken Guard 100 micron thick card sleeves, I'm not actually sure if, you know, I would have had room. I'm glad I went with Paladin and the 90 microns because it does keep that snug in there. So, okay, now we have the encounter cards. Oops, I lost a card there. My fault. So they have, you know, a tray for each encounter deck. Green, you know, purple, blue, and gray, I believe. And gray, and all your encounter cards fit in here. And again, these are the double matte sleeves. Now, the biggest thing about the insert was you had to use the one that Awaken Realms provided, the original game, is you could make everything fit, but you had to use all the save slots to do so. And, you know, this is a game that takes 60, 80 hours to complete. You're going to be saving the game and probably putting it away quite a bit. So, the problem was then you had nowhere to do that if you sleeved your cards. Now, you're probably looking at this saying, I don't see any save slots. And you're technically right, but here's the deal. These event decks can easily be condensed into 2 and I can use, 2 full containers for my saved games, So I could put this stack back here, I could take this stack, put it there, and then I have 2 empty containers to use for my sleeved games, and that's where I would keep, the cards I have in play, or my saved games, sorry, and that's where I would have all that in place. So, and then the last thing in here, real quick, is just the deck cards. So this is all of your deck building cards for each player. Again, they did label them. I tagged the dividers, so I know where the advanced and not, but these are all your diplomacy and cards, because there is some deck building in Tainted Grail, and you can buy better decks or better cards to add to your deck based on, from your advancement pool. Each character has a set advancement pool, okay? But those all fit, and then you would take, the 20 cards you're playing with, and you can put them in a save slot. So, as I said, it wasn't, if they had a bigger box, we could have had true dedicated save slots, but I can still keep every card sleeved. I can move a couple of the encounter decks around, save my games, have save slots to keep the decks I'm using. When I play this game solo, I run 2 characters, okay? So that's 2 full containers of save slots, which is important to me, like I said, and then everything just snaps, right back in, nice and easy. They used every space available to them when designing this insert. I was just really impressed with the craftsmanship. Like I said, everything is snug. Sometimes a little too snug. There we go. This is just a little extra piece that keeps it level. Okay, these 2 pieces just slides on down. Put the Mineras back on top. And I'm trying to do this one-handed, which doesn't always work. Gotta reach over the camera. There we go. And then that little indent there creates room for the player boards. And we'll put the big exploration journal back on top. Everything else we had right back on top. We'll toss this extra file I don't need there. And that is Tainted Grail reorganized. So, if you guys are looking for a Tainted Grail organizer, you want to be able to sleeve your cards and keep everything safe, everything organized, keep your minis safe, I highly recommend checking out Dice Cuts. Again, link will be below. They have not paid me for this. I did not receive a free insert. I paid good money for their insert, and I was just so impressed by it. I wanted to shoot a video for this channel and kind of showcase it a little bit. It really helps with the setup time for Tainted Grail. I mean, I can get a game set up in 10, 15 minutes. The save time, if I just put 2 of the encounter decks, with the other 2 encounter decks, I have 2 full, boxes to keep my saved games in, which I'll keep my items, my deck cards, my advancement cards that I've bought. I can keep track of, what locations I've used, etc., all there. So I can put away a game in 10, 15 minutes as well without having to store things in a separate box or rubber band stuff. And, so I'm very happy about it. So Dice Cuts, custom insert for Tainted Grail, highly recommend, guys. This is my first video that I'm recommending a product, and I just really did it because I was so impressed with them. Okay, that is it. Thank you for watching, and until next time, it will be just Meeple and me.